Hello, in today's video, we'll be focusing on solutions to quadratic equations. In this topic, there are two main solutions or methods to finding a quadratic equation. The first method is completing the square, and the second method is by using a formula to solve the quadratic equation. Now, solving a quadratic equation, what does it mean? Usually, quadratic equation comes in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to a constant. In this case, you have a quadratic equation and you want to find the value of the two x values. What are the values of it? And that is why we are learning how to solve a quadratic equation. The first method that I will be showing you is by completing the square. You are given x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals to 0. The first step that you want to use is to make sure that in front of your coefficient of the x squared, or the highest power, is a 1. You do not want to have any number in front of the coefficient of x squared. The next step is to push your coefficient, your whole number coefficient, over to the other side, which leaves you with x squared minus 4x equals to 2. The second step in doing the completing the square is having x squared minus 4x, leaving this plus the coefficient of this minus 4 divided by 2 square. Okay, so you get the coefficient of the second term and divided by 2 and square. Okay, this is a standard method. Since you add minus 4 over 2 square on the left hand side, you have to add it on the right hand side, which makes it equal. So we have a 2 here, minus 4, 2 square. The next thing you would know, if I will simplify this, for this case, you will get 6. Now, x squared, in this case, you have to have these two combining to each other, which gives you x minus 2 squared equals to 6. And therefore, if you want to find the solution of x, since this is a square, going over gives you square root of 6. And here become 2 plus minus 6. It becomes plus minus 6 because you have two solutions in a quadratic equation. Therefore, keying the calculator will give you x equals to 4.45 or 0.449, given that x equals to 2 plus 6 and x equals to 2 minus square root 6. So that is how you solve using the completing the square method. You get the coefficient of your x value, which is negative 4, divide by 2 and square it. And when you square on the left hand side, you have to square on the right hand side. Now I'll give you another example. Second example is a similar quadratic formula, which is 3x squared plus 6x minus 2 equals to 0. Now, like I said just now, the first method is to check your coefficient of your x squared, and this time round it has 3 in it. So therefore, we want this x squared term to have no coefficient, or only having x squared at the front. So we can divide 3 to the entire equation. And definitely 0 divided by 3 is 0. So if I simplify this, you get this. Now, the first step is, remember, to throw your constant over, such that you have x squared plus 2x equals to 2/3. The next step, since your coefficient of x is 2, Therefore, we apply the formula 2 over 2 square, and since we plus on the left hand side, we've plus the 2 over 2 square on the left hand side, we have to add it on the right hand side such that these two are equal, because you can see this is a one equation and this is a second equation, and these two equations must be equal because of the equal sign. And then since we add on with 2/3 here, and then we plus the 2 over 2 square. And oops, and sorry, so then after that we'll continue by simplifying it. 2 over 2 is 1 square. Oops, okay, mistake here. And for 2/3 plus 2 over 2 square, I'll key in the calculator just to be sure, and gives you 5 over 3. Now remember, we can combine this two together, which will be x plus 1 square equals to 5 over 3. And therefore, when you want to remove your square, you have to square root on the other side, which is plus minus 5 over 3. And to get your x value, plus minus 5 over 3. And then you will get x equals to 0.291 or x equals to negative 2.29. So it is actually repetitive because it follows a certain value or certain formula. Alright, for the second method is solving the quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula method. Now, the quadratic formula method, usually given in the exams or in some schools if you have to memorize, is this formula: x equals to minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is a quadratic equation that can be derived by completing the square method or on a quadratic equation such as ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. And this is the quadratic equation that can be used by this formula here to solve a certain quadratic equation. Now, I'll be going through the formula within two examples. Now, let's say you have minus 3x squared plus 9x equals to 5. You have to compare with this formula here. Can you see that in this formula, you are missing a constant at the back? Therefore, the constant is your 5, and you want to bring the 5 over such that it is equal to this quadratic equation. Now, you will get minus 3x squared plus 9x minus 5 equals 0. For this case, when you are applying the formula, you do not need the x squared coefficient to be 1. You can straight away apply the quadratic formula of minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a, because this is essentially your a, this is essentially your b, and your constant is definitely a c. Choosing a new color for the c here. Therefore, you can see that the first term is your a, your second term is your b, and your third term is your constant, which is negative 5. And now you can place it back into the quadratic formula as can be seen in the previous slide. Now tidy this up. As you can see now, we got your a, you got your b, and you got your c values. You just have to put a, b, c values into this formula in order to solve. And in this case, I'll do it for you, which is x equals to minus 9 plus minus 9 squared minus 4 minus 3 minus 5 over 2 minus 3. And in this case, you will get simplifying it, you'll get negative 9 plus minus 21 over minus 6. And this case, since you have a plus and minus, you have two equations. The first equation of the x1 is minus 9 plus 21 over minus 6. And this will give you 0.736. And for x2, you will get minus 9 minus 21 over minus 6, which gives you 2.26. So as you can see, it is just by applying the main formula, as we can see here, able to solve a quadratic equation. And it is as fast as that, since nowadays we are using our calculators, so you just have to place the correct A, B, C terms into the formula, and then you will get your two answers, which is x1 and x2. And now this is how you solve quadratic equations using the two methods I've chosen, and I hope it helped. And thank you very much. If you are watching this, I hope you subscribe. If you need any contents urgently over this quarantine period, do leave it in the comment section, and I will actually address it in the next video, because I would want to help everybody out here. I don't charge any money, I just want to do it for the sake of helping the students. So thank you very much.